Hey, it's James Lynch back with another industry update video. I haven't done one of these in a while, and something that happened over the last couple of weeks that I wanted to talk about, and I've been getting questions about, is Instagram accounts that are on the MMA side of things getting copyright claims and getting taken down. So if we look here, westtilldeath, 205,000 followers. Apparently he's going to have their account taken away, and we'll read the statement they have here. And I've heard of this happening to other accounts as well, so we'll read the post here. It says, I've been informed by Meta that they have that my account will be permanently removed as early as 8 a.m. tomorrow. I want you to know that I fully compiled with all requests. I've submitted an appeal to resolve this. In case this page does disappear, I just want to say how amazing it's been connecting with all of you and being loved and respected in the community. Thank you so much for all your support. We'll see what happens next. Again, one of the biggest accounts on Instagram. They make a lot of fight posters. They do a lot of news. I've been a little critical of their coverage, but they do make really cool posters. And, you know, again, they're sort of informing people of news and all that different stuff. I think him tagging the UFC isn't really going to do a whole lot because they're not a credentialed partner of the UFC. I would get a hold of someone at Meta and figure out what's going on. But listen, I've talked at length on this channel about stealing content and all that stuff. I think they're more on the side of like just making news and all that. And they're not, regularly, from what I can tell, not, grabbing just straight up footage and not doing anything original. So I'll give them, some credit for that. You can see a couple fighters have chimed in here. Brandon Royval, Max Griffin. They make pretty cool posters. I'll give them that. But their account shouldn't be taken away. Like, I think if you are violating a copyright thing when it comes to Instagram, you should just, again, do what you need to do to make things right, but going out of your way and shutting down an account shouldn't be shut down, in my opinion. If you're, promoting hate or you're, threatening people or whatever, that's a different story. I mean, there's a whole debate on, freedom of speech and all that different stuff. Not going to get into that in this video, but I don't think westtilldeath's account should be taken away. I think this is setting a bad precedent because there are people, and we've seen this on the YouTube side of things, that will abuse copyright claims, right? And listen, I'm not a fan of people stealing content. I've been very vocal about that on this channel for years. It still happens a lot in our industry. But I don't think westtilldeath's account should be taken down. I think they should just be playing by the rules that Meta sees fit or Instagram sees fit. So that they posted that 21 hours ago. It looks like the account's still up. They posted another one, seeing my account deletion notice from Meta. Go follow my backup. So there is a backup there, Gold Knuckle, where I guess you can check things out there. But they have the partnership with RainBet. So it's just, again, mostly just like graphic stuff, kind of keeping us posted with news. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of press conference stuff or stuff from other people's interviews where they do done by, this outlet or whatever. Right. So I don't have a problem if it's just fight posters, but something to keep an eye on. Cause I have heard behind the scenes that the UFC in particular in the new Paramount era has been going after accounts for using footage, which is something that, listen, if you're making that type of content, you got to know that's a risk at the end of the day, that bigger companies can go after you for copyright claims. And whether it's fair or not, it's still part of the rules as far as how people can go after you. So that is one thing I've heard. So we'll be keeping tabs on that. Now, the one I get asked about the most is Home of Fight. I do some work for them. You'll see their Instagram page, which had, I forget how many thousand followers, but it was like way up there. It was like either 300,000 or something around there. Fully transparent. I do work for Home of Fight. I do interviews for them. They're a great company. They do an awesome job, headed up by Jake Noker, who's, one of the guys I work with. He does a great job with that. Now, my understanding is this was not UFC related. It was related to another promotion where someone basically abused the copyright thing, and that's why their account got taken down. But here's the difference with Home of Fight compared to a lot of these other accounts. Home of Fight does original content. That, to me, should be rewarded and celebrated, not used against them. And again, it wasn't the original content that they got taken down. I believe they just had some new stuff that was out there that everyone else is kind of using, but they got hit with it. My understanding is their account will be back, but it's still kind of scary that in a really big outlet like Home of Fight, who I've worked for over a year, they've been doing some really great content on the YouTube side, website side, Twitter, all that stuff. Their account getting taken away like this, it hurts the livelihood of people like myself to a certain degree because I do work for them. So hopefully that will get resolved. Again, the latest I heard as of yesterday is that things are looking good to get their account back, but I've had a number of people reach out. What happened to the account? What's going on? They do have a backup account. It's Home of Pics. That's where you'll see my interview with Corey Sanhagen. That's on there. I think it's Home of Pics. Instagram. Let's see if I can find it there. There we go. Home of Pics. So go follow that. They've already put a bunch of subscribers on there, 23.2 thousand subscribers. And again, this is mainly their betting content, but they're putting obviously some new stuff on here too. But again, reward people who do original content. This Eustace Lawal interview, that's my interview. They made a poster of it. That's original content. We need to be promoting that. Where I can agree with some people, and again, I don't think any account should be taken away, are the accounts that don't produce any original content. Their job is just to clip everyone else's stuff, and they build a bigger following to some degree than the person that actually created the content. That I have an issue with. So that's kind of where I feel about these accounts. But Homofight is not like that. Again, a lot of this is, stuff that they've done, or they're, just posting news. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. But in this day and age, it's a very gray area as far as what you're allowed to use and what you aren't. But I don't think that's a reason to be taking down a big account like this, and especially if the account's following the rules. If they're complying, an account should not be taken down, in my opinion. If they're not complying and they're saying F you and they're just doing their own thing, then yeah, fair enough. But, I think accounts should be kind of brought into consideration here. So yeah, that was the first half of this video. As I wanted to talk quickly about, I've noticed some accounts are getting targeted. And like I said, just to summarize, my understanding is the UFC, specifically Paramount, is going after accounts that are using their footage and stuff. So not related to Homofight from what I'm telling you now, but maybe this was related to West Till Death. I'm not sure, but that is something I did hear behind the scenes. Okay, my last thing I want to talk about is professionalism in the industry. And again, I am not an expert at this. I have, done this full time for a very long time. I think coming up to 10 years as of next year, I've done this full time. So I'm coming from a place of experience, not a place of I know more than everyone else. But one of the things I would recommend to a lot of people that are covering this sport is be professional, especially online. When it comes to dealing with fighters, with media members, all that stuff. One of the easiest things you can do to get people not to like you in this industry is you're being rude and unprofessional. And we saw that this past week. Shout out to Red Wolf, who captured the screen grab. And it's regarding Crazy Kev, who I've talked about on this channel. And I did that video talking about the Chimaev and Yuri Prohaska fight that didn't pan out, and talked about how I didn't think the reporting was done well and there should have been more accountability for getting the fight wrong. And just as sort of a step to that, Kevin messaged me all this stuff, sent me like paragraphs of DMs talking about how mad he was that I did that video. And it's like, look, like, I'm just giving my opinion here. I don't think I was that harsh. I just said, I think there needs to be a little bit more accountability, and I don't believe in his reporting. And he took that seriously. And I got to the point where I actually had to block him because he just kept messaging me. Like, he wouldn't let it go. It's like, dude, I made that one comment, but I bring him up again because he is doing something again that people don't like in this industry. So let's go read the tweet thread here. Not going to read what Red Wolf says. He says it a bit more harshly, but he says they want to be taken seriously as an MMA reporter, but openly trolls and disrespects professional fighters. I don't like this stuff at all. And Kevin's not the only one who does this. I've seen other members of the media, not that often, not maybe ones that are like really respected. But one of the things that drives me nuts are media members or people who are trying to be media talk like this to fighters. So Kevin has this thread here with Shamrock, and he, I guess, is sort of making fun of Shamrock, saying free money for the casino. Shamrock claps back and says, funny, these chat off fake profiles. Your real one, I'll strangle you. Zip it. He's saying zip it to a fighter. Like, that's just so like, dude, what are you doing? Keep that same energy when I buck you in Brookhaven. Like, Shamrock should not be threatening him either, but like, I don't blame him for getting upset. You'll do absolutely nothing, just like your debut fight. You beat nobody. It's like, you never should talk to a fighter like this, ever. I don't care. Listen, there's fighters I don't like, right? But I'm not talking to them in this manner online, especially something public like this. This is embarrassing. This is because what I said, like in that other video, is Kevin wants to be taken seriously as a reporter. People lump him in with everyone else in this industry, including Ariel. You don't see Ariel talking like this to other fighters. I know he has been critical and done sort of his back and forth and stuff, but this is just really disrespectful to a fighter for no reason too. Like, I don't think there's any sort of beef back and forth, but yeah, if you're in the industry, if you're in the media industry, don't talk like this to fighters. Like, if you have an opinion, keep it to yourself. But I don't know why anyone would ever do an interview with him after the way he just talked to this fighter. That's not professional. If you got a public beef, take it to the DMs, take it to a phone call. I'm only bringing this up it could be Kevin, it could be anyone else. It doesn't matter. My whole point that I want to bring up in this video is you should not be talking to people like this online, in my opinion, if you want to be respected. If you don't want to be respected, if you have such a big ego that you think you can talk to a fighter like this, because that's all this is. This is all ego here. The same reason why he wrote me like 5 paragraphs in my DMs talking about how I'm jealous of him, or I don't know what he said, but it was just like a bunch of nonsense. If you have that big of an ego, this is the result of that. Don't have an ego. Enjoy and be grateful you get to cover the sport. Be grateful you get to do this, but don't act like this was fighters. This Red Wolf guy is 100% correct. And a lot of people have kind of chimed in, this is really sad to see. You can't be serious. I'm not the only one. People are catching on. Internet, trolling talk should not be translated to people that are trying to be respected in this industry. So that's where I wanted to end this video. Keep it professional. to my fellow content creators, media members, whatever you want to say, don't talk like this to fighters. That would be my advice. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of the copyright claims? What do you think about keeping it professional online? Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching. And if you guys like these industry update videos, let me know. I'll do more of them. I know they're not going to get a ton of views. I'm just trying to do something different here on the channel. Everyone's doing the same UFC content, so trying to give you something a little bit different. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching.